Please don't call me arrogant, but I'm European champion and I think I'm the special one. Those were the words that came out of José Mourinho's mouth, not mine, as he sat down to meet the press at his first ever conference as a Chelsea manager way back in the summer of 2004. And having just won 2 European trophies in 2 seasons at Porto, it was to be his future years in European football which really showed just how good of a manager he really is. But with speculation rife about his control of the dressing room and his apparent lack of success, is the special one losing his touch? Is this a challenge too far? I'll be trying to find the truth amongst the concoction of lies and bullshit that the media just can't help but stir up. I've seen plenty of videos on YouTube this week speculating about Mourinho's future, and most of them are going with the narrative that his time at Man United could be up. To be honest, that's absolute nonsense. Yes, they may have lost their first game of the season against newly promoted Huddersfield the other day, but if there's anything Mourinho loves, it's a challenge. For example, he took over Porto back in 2002 where they were 5th in the league, had been knocked out of the Portuguese Cup and were last in their second group phase in the Champions League. 2 seasons later, he had 2 domestic titles and both European trophies under his belt. He then took Chelsea and Abramovich's millions to Premier League success before completing a historic treble with Inter Milan. He then also managed to wrestle La Liga off one of the best teams that the world has ever seen in Pep Guardiola's Barcelona and take Real Madrid to the Spanish title. Having then completed another domestic double back at Chelsea, the present day sees Mourinho at Manchester United, trying to regain the glorious Fergie era years that have somewhat dissipated since Moyes and Van Gaal took charge. So how is he going about this challenge of returning United to global dominance? Well, if you believe what the papers are saying, not very well. However, the papers also said that the world was going to end 5 years ago. Unless United losing to Huddersfield is the beginning of the end. Anyways, in terms of managing players, Mourinho has done an excellent job, no least in gaining the respect and the hard work of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Just ask Guardiola how difficult that is. He's let go of a declining Wayne Rooney regardless of his status at the club, and turned Marouane Fellaini, formerly the butt of every single football internet joke ever, into a key man at Old Trafford. So recent reports have claimed that he doesn't really speak to left-back Luke Shaw. To be honest, he spent the best part of a year in numerous interviews stating why and how Luke Shaw isn't getting into the team and what he should do to try and get back in. In all honesty, Luke Shaw looks like he needs to do a bit more if he's to deserve a place in the starting lineup. The same thing could be said about Henrik Mkhitaryan as well. After José Mourinho admitted there were a few communication problems last season, Mkhitaryan broke into the side and did excellently well. However, despite a good start to the season, his form has dropped, and with Mkhitaryan snubbing his coach in the recent Coach of the Year awards, voting for Zidane amongst others instead of him, there's probably something else going on there. But to be honest, going about with cheap passive-aggressive votes isn't the best way of getting yourself back in the team. If both Shaw and Mkhitaryan do prove their worth, it's not like Mr. Mourinho isn't a forgiving man, as proven with his rekindled relationship with club vice-captain Ander Herrera, who spoke out at the weekend about the players' attitude after their poor defeat to Huddersfield. Tactically, Mourinho has deployed the same style of football wherever he's been. He's had an excellent spine to the team, built on aggressive, physical, technically good central defenders such as Ricardo Carvalho, John Terry, Sergio Ramos, and now at United, Eric Bailly. Add to that he packs the midfield with 3 central midfielders to allow for an overload. Now you can definitely go through the history books yourself and find out all the players he's used over the years, but there's one common theme that stands out about a typical Mourinho midfielder. They're intelligent, physically strong, technically gifted, and possess the tactical know-how to see out a game and control the midfield in what's seen as a key area of the pitch for Mourinho. And lastly, the attacking area of the pitch, well, that's full of match winners and goal scorers as you could expect. The likes of Samuel Eto'o, Cristiano Ronaldo, Diego Costa and Diego Milito all show why Mourinho's teams have posed such an attacking threat. To be honest, on the face of it, it looks like you need good players to win things. So with the man management skills and the tactical requirements set out by Mourinho, does he actually have the team at United to succeed? A simple answer, yes. If Mourinho was to believe everything he read in the newspapers, he'd probably be sat in the corner crying his eyes out thinking of jumping before he's pushed. But then again, he's been in England long enough to know not to believe everything he reads from the media, because they love to thrive off failure and blow absolutely everything out of proportion. United may have lost their first game of the season, but that doesn't mean they've lost the title. In fact, no title winner's gone unbeaten throughout a season since Arsenal's Invincibles did it in 2003-2004. If you were to combine Mourinho's management skills, you'd probably see that any failed title charge of his isn't exactly down to a Man United doing bad, but maybe the likes of Man City or Tottenham going above and beyond expectations. So if there is a lesson to be learnt for you guys and Mr. Mourinho out there, it's don't believe everything you read on the internet. But do feel free to leave your opinions in our comment section down below. Has Mourinho really lost the dressing room? Or was a good telling off exactly what they needed after an embarrassing defeat to a newly promoted team? Let us know, and I'll see you next time. Oh no, I completely ruined the last bit. Fuck's sake. Is this a joke too stupid, or can you work with this?